On this episode, two girls die after Florida parents decide to leave the child in the car. Also, mother of baby India, the newborn who was found alive in a plastic bag in the Georgia woods nearly 4 years ago. Arrests and charges are being made. That starts right now on Chris Talks.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
What's up? 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 How is everybody doing? I hope that you are enjoying your day like I am. Welcome, people. Welcome to another episode of Chris Talks. I am your host with the most. Okay, so let's get into this content real quick. Ed. Oh, yes. Ed, how are you doing? Good? Good. All right. So, no, we're going to get into that later. All right. Listen, let's just get into these two episodes right quick where two girls die after Florida parents decide to leave the children in the car. Well, no, not children, the child in the car. You cannot be serious. I thought they stopped doing that a long time ago. I thought there was a law against that. Ed, tell me where this is at. Where's the story? This is in Florida? Isn't there a law against that in Florida? I'm assuming that there is a law against that in Florida. Alright? Alright, let's get into the story right quick. Okay, listen. Let's hit Sarah, our A girl. Our AI, good girl, Sarah. Let's hit it. Put it on Ed.
A 2-year-old Florida girl who fell asleep in her car seat died after she allegedly was left in a hot car on purpose by her parents. Authorities said the girl's parents, Catherine Adams, 23, and Christopher McLean, 32, were arrested and charged with child neglect, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Additional charges are expected. Holmes County Sheriff John Tate said at a news conference Wednesday, deputies responded to a home in the Florida Panhandle community of Prosperity at 3:43 p.m. Tuesday after a hysterical woman called 911. Sheriff Tate said the 911 operator was not able to get information from the woman because she was screaming. The responding deputy was met at the home with a person carrying the unresponsive 2-year-old. The deputy immediately began CPR until emergency medical services arrived and took over, but the child was pronounced dead shortly afterward. Adams initially told deputies that she found her daughter inside the home unresponsive. The sheriff said the child's temperature was 107 degrees, so we knew something wasn't adding up. During the investigation, authorities learned that the child had been left in the car for about 14 hours. Adams eventually told deputies that she had left work around midnight and went to a relative's house to pick up the 2-year-old and the girl's 4-year-old sibling, Adams. McLean and the children then drove home. The sheriff said.
Wow. That's crazy. The sheriff said. Alright, listen, let's play these bills real quick before we continue with this story. If you like this content and you want to hear more of it, all the links are right there on your screen. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. For some reason I got the hiccups. But all the links and everything are right there on your screen. Yeah, right? Okay, yeah, we done with that part. So all the links and everything are right there up on your screen. If you want to hit us up. Now, let's continue with this story, which is a 2-year-old girl who fell asleep in the car. Now, my question is simply this. What in the hell were the parents really doing? That's my question. What were they really, really doing that they were gone for about 45 minutes or so? That they left the 2-year-old in the car. Now, listen, me personally, I'm going to bust it down to you. I don't care how old the child is. You in my car, I'm leaving the window cracked, period, because you're a child. And this should have been obvious to these parents. I think this should have been obvious to these parents to leave the dang on window open. That would have been, to me, it would have been obvious. Okay, all right, hold on. Do we have a report on this? We have an audio report on this. All right, Ed, play that audio report.
Hot car crimes are on the rise. And with the hot summer months rolling in, leaving a child in a car could result in fatal heat strokes.
It can get very hot very quickly. On a day like today that's 90 degrees, that temperature can increase by 20 degrees within the first 10 minutes, which is usually what's doing the most damage. And then as time goes on, it's getting even hotter and hotter, up to 140, 150 degrees in the car.
On Tuesday, a 2-year-old child died in Holmes County after being left in a car for at least 14 hours.
The majority of these children are ages 1 to 3.
A similar situation over in Panama City Wednesday. A Colorado couple leaving their children in a car without AC while dining at a restaurant. Thankfully, the kids are okay, but that couple has also been charged.
If you leave a child in the car for under 15 minutes, it's a first-degree misdemeanor, unattended. And if you leave a child in the car longer than 15 minutes for great bodily harm or the child's in danger, you're looking at felony charges.
So what should you do if you see a kid unattended in a car? Call 911 and act fast.
If the child seems to be in distress and it's hot out and there's no one around, break the window and save that child's life. Don't stand there and be like, what do I do? What do I do?
Officials say forgetting a kid in a car could happen to anyone, but there are ways for prevention.
Look before you lock. Check the back seat of the vehicle for your child or infant. Make sure that they're not there. There are other reminders you can have on your phone. And I know some new vehicles now actually have reminders that pop up on like the screens that say, check back seat for child. There's some other things where, you can have a stuffed animal in the front seat or a baby diaper bag, and that'll kind of cue you to look in the back seat before you exit the vehicle.
In Panama City Beach, Jamelka Gibson, News, Channel 7.
All right. Thank you, News Channel 7, for giving us that story. Thank you, News Channel 7. And they are absolutely right. Okay? You should not be leaving your child in the car for over 10 or 15 minutes. But you shouldn't be leaving your child in the car anyway. If you're going to leave your child in the car, and this is what I suggest, if you're going to leave your child in the car, lock your doors, roll up your windows, and turn on the AC. If not, lock your doors, crack your windows. A crack would have been good. Right? A crack would have been good. Am I right? A crack would have been good. Right? Yeah, a crack would have been good. Just crack your windows. Just leave them some type of air to flow through the car. Okay? And then whatever you're doing, try to make it fast. If it's not going to be fast, if you're going into a grocery store or something like that, let's be realistic. That's not going to take 15 or 20 minutes. It needs people, which I assume were non-melanin people without a lot of melanin, would leave their kids in the car for 45 minutes. 45. That is beyond. That's beyond disgusting. I'm sorry, the static. Did you hit the thing? I'm sorry. I hit the thing, right? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That is beyond. I don't even know I mean, I said what I had to say about this story. That is beyond. Beyond. And it was 104. So, okay, so if it's like the officer had explained, if it's a certain degrees outside, you know what I'm saying, you gotta at least add that by 10 or 15 degrees inside of a car, and it's not moving. I mean, come on, people. When you driving a car and you don't have air conditioner, let's be real, you driving a car, your AC is not on, okay? And it is like 80 degrees outside. You get that breeze when you're driving, but the second that you stop, you know it start heating up in that car. So imagine what a child is going through. Okay? Without no tint or nothing on that car to block the sun from getting in. I mean, parents, come on. Let's be much smarter, okay? I want to thank who bought that story? Can you pull that up on the big screen? Okay, I want to thank NBC for bringing us that story. Now let's move to the second story, which is a mother of baby India, the newborn, who was found alive in a plastic bag in Georgia woods nearly 4 years ago. Excuse me. 4 years. 4 years ago. Come on, people. Let's be real. Now, police are taking action, and arrests and charges have been made. Okay, so there are some arrests and charges that have been made. So let's hear about this story. All right, let's hit the AI and let's get this story, Ed. Post it up, put it up, play it.
Nearly 4 years after an abandoned newborn girl was found alive in a plastic bag left in a wooded area of northern Georgia, authorities have identified and arrested the child's mother. Forsyth County Sheriff's Office deputies arrested Karima Joanna, 40, Thursday on charges of criminal attempt to commit murder, cruelty to children in the first degree, aggravated assault and reckless abandonment. The sheriff's office identified the child's father about 10 months ago using advanced DNA investigative practices and familial DNA. Forsyth County Sheriff Ron Freeman said during a news conference Friday. Within the past week, DNA helped the sheriff's office identify Joanna as the mother of the child. Dubbed Baby India, Freeman said, the baby was believed to be just hours old when a family in Cumming, Georgia, about 40 miles north of Atlanta, heard what they thought were animal noises coming from a wooded area on June 6, 2019. Body camera footage from responding law enforcement officers showed the crying child wrapped in a yellow plastic bag with her umbilical cord still attached. Baby India's birth likely took place inside a vehicle, according to Freeman. Additional evidence revealed that Joanna drove for a significant period of time after the birth with the child in the car, until she decided to tie the baby in a plastic bag and throw it into the woods to die. Freeman said. CNN could not determine whether Joanna has an attorney. Freeman said evidence collected during the investigation led authorities to believe Joanna was likely alone when the child was abandoned. Joanna, who lived in southeast Forsyth County, has cooperated with detectives throughout the investigation. According to the sheriff's office, authorities said they could not discuss motives or details of what Joanna told investigators as the case is pending prosecution. Little can explain how this happened, and no motive can justify that decision. Freeman said, Joanna made no effort to leave this child, not only under safe haven law, but in any place this child could be found. Under Georgia's Safe Place for Newborns Act, also known as the Safe Haven Law, mothers cannot be charged criminally if they leave their baby with medical facility volunteers or staff, or at a fire or police station. According to the Georgia Department of Human Services, the Georgia law applies to children 30 days old or younger. The sheriff's office investigation discovered Joanna had a history of hidden and concealed pregnancies and surprise births. Freeman said, adding digital evidence indicated she had known of this particular pregnancy for a period of time and went to extremes to conceal it. There is no evidence, at this point, that the father was aware of either the pregnancy or the abandonment of the baby. The sheriff added, Freeman did not discuss details of baby India's current status Friday, but said she was happy, healthy and in a safe place.
You believe that? Do you believe that? That law, I think, should probably be changed. But maybe not, because it said within 30 days. So, not 3 months. But this lady, apparently, according to this story, this lady has a history of doing this. And not, according to this story, not letting the father know that she was even pregnant. So she hid this for 9 months. I don't know how you women do it. I think it's you really slim, thin women that probably are able to like really, really, really hide it. But I don't know how somebody can hide up to their like 9th month. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it has been done. I mean, if you look at Seinfeld, the female, what was the character that she played? Ellen, right? I think her name was Ellen, right? Was it Ellen? I think it was Ellen. But she was pregnant on the show, and they covered her pregnancy. You know, so it should be more also with her parents, if they're active in her life, the parents of noticing that sort of difference in their child, trying to cover that up. But I mean, if you watch, if you go back to old episodes of Murray, you could check it out. There's some teens out there, they clever, man. They know how to cover it up. Especially the small, petite ones. And looking at this story, this was a small, petite woman. And she was able to keep, I guess she was able to keep this from everybody. Because she was so small and she was so petite, but I mean, sometimes that happens. Ed, you got an audio on this, right? All right. Let's play that audio. Let's hope it don't go into no commercials. Let's play the audio on this. Can we pull that up?
4 years ago, a newborn in North Georgia was found abandoned in the woods, left in a plastic bag, and miraculously, she survived.
How did you hear it? We heard it from our house. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness, you can hear the officer saying, I'm so sorry. The person who left her there, this little baby there, was never found. That is, until last week. Authorities in Forsyth County have identified and arrested the birth mother of the child known as Baby India. CNN's Isabel Rosales is joining us now here in studio to tell us more about this. I mean, wow, Isabel, how did the police 4 years later catch up with the birth mother?
And it's such an incredible story. It was actually the family who found the baby that dubbed her Baby India. They thought it was the sound of a raccoon or a baby deer, and then they followed that and made that miraculous discovery. So how did investigators find the mom 4 years later? They used what's called advanced DNA. That's according to Ron Freeman, the sheriff of Forsyth County. He says that 10 months ago, using DNA, they were able to find the father, the biological father of that baby. Then using that same DNA, they then found the mom. And that happened here in the past week. So the mom is 40-year-old Karima Jawani. The sheriff says she is cooperating with investigators. She's been charged with criminal attempt to commit murder, cruelty to children in the first degree, aggravated assault, reckless abandonment, and other charges. A lot of people are wanting to know, why does she do this, allegedly? What is the motive behind this? The sheriff says that he can't get into those details or the interview that they have had with Jawani because there is a pending prosecution happening here. But they were able to piece together with, including digital evidence, they found that the birth likely happened inside of a car and that Jawani drove with that baby after the birth for a long period of time before the baby was put into that wooded area. Here's what else the sheriff had to say.
Hold that. She drove with the baby for a period of time to a wooded area. Let's get back into it.
This child was wrapped up to suffocate in a plastic bag, thrown 20 yards in the woods in an isolated area with one house nearby it. That family happened to arrive home when they weren't supposed to and happened to go back outside because it was going to rain to empty their car when they had earlier decided they were going to do it the next morning. That's divine intervention. This baby's supposed to be here.
And the sheriff says that the evidence led them to Jawani having a history of hidden and concealed pregnancies and surprise births, and that she did know about this particular pregnancy. The baby, by the way, the sheriff says, is prosperous, happy, and healthy.
Really? I was just going to ask if this, how this baby's doing. 4 years old by now. What an incredible story. Isabel Rosales, thank you.
Thank you also, Isabel Rosario and CNN for bringing this story to light. But as you know, our page, we bring stories to light that they have dimmed. And this is one of the stories that only got just like that little play, but didn't really get no national recognition. And it should have. And like I said, this lady was a slim thin, and dropped his baby off and has had a history of doing it. This lady with the charges that she has on her, she deserves every single one of them. Abandoning a baby like that is not good. Now, I don't want to discourage any person that is listening to this, that's listening to this particular episode, to discourage you, like if you're in that situation, to drop a baby off at a firehouse or a hospital. I'm not discouraging that. What I'm saying is that this woman in particular, okay, that may not be your story, but this woman in particular, she has had a history of getting pregnant, having babies, and dropping them off. She's had a history of doing this to different firehouses, which you just heard. And that's not cool. That is not cool. My dear, I would advise you to practice safe sex. If you're going to be out there like that, then practice safe sex. If you're not willing to commit to a man or anything like that, practice safe sex. And I would advise anybody who hears my voice, if you are not ready to have a child, but you are out there doing that, then to practice safe sex. Condoms, birth control, whatever you choose. Practice it and do it consistently so that you don't end up in a situation like this woman, who obviously did not want children in this so hard for so many women out there who can't have children and want children. I'm not talking about the alphabet community. I'm talking about real women that want children but cannot have them. And they would gladly, with no problem, take in these children who are being abandoned. And that's my view and that's my point on it. All right, everybody, I want to thank you for listening and tuning in. Again, all the links are right there on your screen. Hit those shares, hit those likes, hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit those shares, hit those likes, and send in your comments. I do love to read your comments. Send in your comments. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are here with me and you are listening. I want to thank you so much, and I so much appreciate it. Also, stay blessed, not stressed. Be kind to the people that are around you. Until next episode, peace.